Let's take a look at the deliverables sheet of the project planner. And I'm going to give you a little bit more in detail in this later in the assignment guide, but this will give you sort of an idea of what's going on. So the main column here are the project tasks, the deliverables, and you'll see a whole column of these. Okay, a large column of these. There's a lot in this class. Okay, and after that, there's one called the status. And so let's take a look at what these status labels mean, and they're color coded. Not started means not started, and that's the default. That's where everything goes. And as soon as you start working on something, you are developing the deliverable. So as soon as I start watching the videos, I can click on the little arrow, pick developing, and it will turn yellow for me. Okay. Now, once you've watched them all and you've turned in your certification, okay, then it needs approval. In other words, it needs to be graded. And finally, after it's been graded, that means I have accepted your submittal. And so it goes to accepted. So that's how you change this so that it's visually very quick and easy for the project manager to see. The next column over basically sends you to the assignment guide or whatever other thing you may need to get. Mostly everything will be in the assignment guide, and this will be just assignment guide, one after the other, after the other, after the other. So that's just for you to give you a quick jump to it so you don't have to go back and find it and go to the modules. Everything is in the course planner. I can suggest that you bookmark this thing so that it's easy to get to from your bookmarks page, so you don't have to look for it very fast or very, very often. Okay, so we've looked at the deliverable list, the status, where you get the resource to do it. Then we've got a column of about expected hours. So this is based on our experience as faculty about how long most students take. Okay, some students do them faster, some students do them a little bit slower, but this is about it. And it lets us compare to our curriculum requirements. Our curriculum ends up being like 94 to 97 hours. I've assigned just about that much work, give you a little bit of room to move past that. So these are the hours that I expect that you will spend on things. So it says here to replace expected hours with the hours that you actually did. So let's say I did 0.75 hours. Okay, again, I want that color coded. You'll go up to the little fill box, and if you do it faster, then it's blue. If you did it right on, then it's yellow. And if it took you a long time, more, then it's red. It's a very quick color code so that the project manager can see how well their estimate of times is going. So this is really important that you go back, and as you're finishing your work, you go back and you track it. Okay, we also have an expected start date, about when we think you should be starting on doing this. And if you do start it on time, you'll come over to start it on time and you'll say yes. Otherwise, you'll say no. Yes or no if you started it on time. And then there's a column that says, what are you submitting? certification, a Canvas quiz, a PDF file, down here DWG files. So this is part of that work that I talked about of you really starting to understand file systems. Going to go ahead and set that back. Now, most files, when there is a file, it belongs somewhere where it can be retrieved, and so it should be in a folder somewhere. And it should be either a CAD file or a PDF file. Sometimes it's some other file, sometimes it's a document file, but mostly I'm going to be asking for your PDF files. So there's a folder, and there will be a link to it, and a file. There will be a link to it. I will give you a specific demonstration later on how to do that. And then if you have notes that you want to give to yourself or to me, then you can put your notes here. Okay, so that is how you track your deliverables. And you get credit for it. I even give you a half an hour to do this thing. So for your logbook, it is essentially a plot of this page to PDF. So you go to this page, File, and actually a download works too, PDF, and I just want to do the current sheet. I think it works best at tabloid size, and I'm going to fit it to one page. Oops, nope, sorry. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to fit it to the width. Okay. Now there's one other thing that I'm going to ask you to do, but this is good for now. I'm going to give you a little bit more information on how to clean this up later. Well, I might as well just do it right now. So I should export margins, set custom, and when I do my export, it's going to download that as a PDF. Okay, and I'm going to give you one more set of instructions on how to collapse this, but I want to do that in a separate video for you. There's a little bit more information I'm going to give you in a separate video that will give you further, deeper information. But that's basically the use of this Deliverables Worksheet. It is mimicking industry standard requirements that you track progress of what's been assigned to you. Now this one is very simple. Most will have your name on here as well as other people's names, and you'll collapse it down to just show your work, where the project manager needs to see everybody's work. And sometimes these have things called dependencies, which say I can't do section 1 until I've done the introduction. And so Gantt charts and project planners get very, very complex sometimes. This is very simple, and it's just to get you started with the idea that there are standard normalized ways for you to track your progress in your work. Now some people like to see it visually, so I've given a little visual one here where you can see when things start and when they're due and what happens. Okay? But we're mostly going to work in here. So look forward to another video with more information, like what are these checkboxes about? How do I make this view a little bit nicer? But you know what everything is now. Deliverables, status, where to get it, how much time you worked, when I think you should be starting to keep up with the class. You don't have to, and you're not graded for whether it's on time or not, but you need to be able to report it. What type of submittal is due, And then where are you keeping it? You really need to be able to go back and find things. You are going to find in particular that you're going to have to go back and revise things. So you're going to have to go back to your own work and revise them. So it's really important that you keep them in a certain spot and that you have a link to them that you can get to. Okay, there you go. That's your design deliverables for 301.